Now the grandmother of the guy that I am dating in Atlanta tells us that she thinks I am his sister. No, she is not. She doesn't think. She is absolutely convinced. She is 1000% convinced that I'm her granddaughter. She fully believes and stands by the fact that her son is my father. Well, was. He had already passed away, unfortunately. She was very convinced of that. Like there was no changing her mind. And the fact that she knew exactly who I was just off of looking at me, I don't even think that I look that much like my mom, but clearly I did because she walked straight in the house and was like, "Oh, I know who your mother is, and I know who your daddy is because he's my son. And oh, by the way, you're dating your brother." Needless to say, that was the end for me and the guy. I mean, where do you go from there? Even if you find out it's untrue, it's very, very creepy. And it also didn't help that he was on the America's Most Wanted list of top 10 people most wanted at the time. He was on the run. He eventually got caught and did a nice amount of time. So that didn't help either. I told y'all it's wild. Now let's rewind. Remember the guy who stood me up at Ponderosa when I was in my airbrush hoodie and my red skinny Levi's and my Lotto sneakers? Yes, I remember that outfit till this day. It's stuck in my brain because that was a pivotal moment for me. The guy who is the dad of my boyfriend at the time is not the guy who didn't come to Ponderosa. So as it turns out, the guy who didn't come to Ponderosa, who's apparently my bio dad, was not even the guy. What's not even the guy. Now, mind you, while all of this stuff is going on about who's my bio dad and who's not my bio dad, I am not looking for anyone because I have a dad. My dad is fine. My dad adopted me when I was an infant. That's the only dad I know. So I'm not even thinking about this, but this stuff keeps coming my way. My mother denied the fact that my boyfriend's father is actually my dad. She's like, no, that's not true. She was very adamant about the fact that it's not true and they were wrong. But his grandmother went to her grave believing that I was her granddaughter. Now it's time to graduate college. And as before, I'm moving to New York to become a songwriter. There was no in between. I went to college. I got my degree. I'm glad I did because it taught me social skills that I would have never learned just going straight to New York. And plus, who in their right mind is going to let their 18-year-old daughter move to New York City by themselves? Yeah, no. I'm so glad my mother was having no parts of that. But now it was time for me to go to college. And my boyfriend, who may or may not have been my brother, was 1000% planning to pay for everything when I was in New York, pay for my rent, the car, all of the things that I needed for me to live in New York to follow my dreams as a songwriter. Mind you, he was already clinked at the time. So I guess it didn't exactly end, but it was a soft ending. It was a soft ending. So he was there, but him being there had nothing, it didn't stop the financial support I was getting. So I was still being taken care of while he was there. So the plan was he was going to pay for everything when I went to New York. And then all of a sudden, at the last minute, he decided he would pay for everything as long as I went to graduate school. He didn't want to pay for the things for me to live in New York to pursue a career in the music industry. But if I go into graduate school, sure he'll pay for it all. I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate the fact that there was stipulations on why and how you would pay my rent. And if I don't do exactly what you say, the way you say it, you're not going to pay my rent. So I was like, deuces, bye. I'm good. I don't need you to pay my rent. And then the first guy I started dating in New York started to pay my rent. So also my mom was paying my rent. So I have rent money. It's not like I needed anybody to pay my rent. But if you're offering, I'm not going to say no. So no, I'm living in New York in my 20s. Life is good. And let me tell you what year it was. It was 97, 98 to early 2000s. If you know anything about New York during that time, baby, the time was had. That man who's in the clink now, those parties he had, undeniable. The best parties you have ever gone to in your life. I promise you not. So life was great. I eventually got a place in LA, so now I'm bi-coastal. I'm living back and forth. home front in Detroit is great. The business is growing that my mom has. She and I are traveling the world, Paris, Italy, wherever we want to go. Like, I took my goddaughter to Paris for her 15th birthday. We stayed at the Four Seasons for like a week with like a 2-bedroom suite. I mean, when I say we were living life, we were living life. And then one time I'm headed from Detroit to go back to LA. My brother is dropping me off at the airport. When he pulls up to drop me off at the airport, I see a man. Now, mind you, because of the way I grew up, my head is on a swivel. You might call me malice the way I'm looking around like this. No. Every time I get out the car, I notice everything. So I noticed the guy standing on the side of the wall. He didn't have any luggage in his hand. He was just kind of leaning like this. And I thought it to be odd because while you're leaning there, you have no luggage and you're by yourself. I thought it to be very, very strange. But I remembered seeing this guy. I go in the airport, I go through. As soon as I get through TSA, that man is on the other side with his DEA badge hanging from his shirt. And he pulls me to the side and says, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, what do you need to talk to me about? Asked me a few questions, and I was very confused because I didn't understand what was going on. But he really just wanted to know how much cash I had with me. He's like, how much cash are you traveling with? What? Like nothing. I'm not like, baby, I have a platinum Amex. I don't travel with a bunch of cash. What are you even talking about? And then I get back to LA only to find out my mother's clinic had been raided and she had been indicted.